Have you ever noticed how your greatest breakthroughs came disguised as your worst breakdowns? How the moments that felt like the universe was working against you were actually preparing you for something greater? Today, we're diving deep into one of philosophy's most profound mysteries: why struggle seems to be the universe's preferred teaching method. If you've ever wondered why life feels like a constant uphill battle, or why every meaningful achievement requires us to walk through fire first, then this video is for you. Hit that subscribe button, and let's explore together. Picture this. A blacksmith takes a piece of raw iron and places it in a blazing furnace. The metal resists, but the fire doesn't relent. Hours of heating, hammering, and cooling transform that crude iron into a magnificent sword. Now imagine the iron could speak. In the midst of the flames, it would cry out about the injustice, the pain, the unfairness of it all. But the blacksmith sees what the iron cannot: its potential. But what if our struggles work the same way? What if the universe operates like that blacksmith, and we are the raw material being forged into something extraordinary? This isn't just poetic thinking. There's profound wisdom here that spans cultures, centuries, and philosophical traditions. The idea that struggle teaches essential lessons isn't new. 2,500 years ago, the Buddha identified suffering as the first noble truth, not as punishment but as information. He recognized that our attempts to avoid discomfort actually cause more suffering than the discomfort itself. The path to enlightenment, according to Buddhist philosophy, runs directly through our difficulties, not around them. The ancient Stoics took this even further. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his personal journal that would become Meditations, noted that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Think about that profound reversal. The obstacle is the path. Epictetus himself, a former slave, taught that we don't control what happens to us, but we absolutely control how we respond. He saw every challenge as the universe's way of asking, "Who will you choose to be in this moment?" Even Nietzsche, centuries later, would echo this sentiment with his famous declaration: "What does not destroy me makes me stronger." But he wasn't advocating for masochism. He was pointing to something deeper, that our capacity for growth is directly proportional to our willingness to embrace difficulty. Modern neuroscience validates what ancient philosophers intuited. Our brains are literally rewired by challenge. When we face adversity, our neural pathways are forced to find new routes, creating what scientists call neuroplasticity. Comfort zones are actually neural ruts, familiar patterns that require minimal energy but offer minimal growth. Post-traumatic growth research shows that many people don't just recover from trauma, they develop greater resilience, deeper relationships, enhanced appreciation for life, and a stronger sense of personal strength than they had before their struggles. The trauma itself isn't good, but the growth that can emerge from navigating it transforms people in profound ways. Consider the concept of hormesis in biology, the phenomenon where exposure to low doses of stress actually strengthens an organism. When you lift weights, you're creating micro tears in your muscles. The repair process makes them stronger. When you fast occasionally, your cells activate repair mechanisms that improve their function. The universe seems to operate on this principle at every level. If we think of life as a cosmic curriculum, struggle appears to be the advanced coursework. The lessons we learn in comfort are surface level compared to what we discover about ourselves when we're pushed to our limits. Struggle teaches us several irreplaceable lessons. First, it reveals our true strength. You never know how resilient you are until resilience is your only option. Every person who has overcome significant adversity discovers reserves of power they never knew they possessed. Second, struggle develops empathy. Those who have walked through the valley of hardship become guides for others making the same journey. Your wounds, when healed, become your wisdom. Your scars become maps for those still lost in the darkness. Third, struggle clarifies what truly matters. When life strips away the non-essentials, what remains is what actually counts. Crisis has a way of revealing our authentic priorities and values. Many people describe their greatest difficulties as simultaneously their worst and best experiences, because they led to profound clarity about what they really wanted from life. Fourth, struggle builds character in ways that success simply cannot. Success can make us confident, but struggle makes us wise. Success can make us popular, but struggle makes us authentic. Success can make us wealthy, but struggle makes us rich in spirit. Here's where it gets interesting. The universe seems to teach through a consistent pattern that spans personal development, scientific discovery, and even creative breakthroughs. I call this the resistance pattern. First comes the vision. You glimpse a possibility, a dream, a version of yourself that doesn't yet exist. Then comes the resistance. Everything that stands between you and that vision suddenly becomes visible and formidable. Most people interpret resistance as a sign they're on the wrong path. But what if resistance is actually confirmation you're heading towards something that matters? The third phase is the struggle, the actual work of pushing through obstacles, learning new skills, developing new capacities. This is where most people quit, interpreting difficulty as evidence of failure rather than evidence of growth. Finally comes the breakthrough. Not just achieving the original vision, or discovering you've become someone capable of achieving it. The goal was never really the external achievement. It was the internal transformation required to reach it. Here's a curious paradox. If struggle is such an effective teacher, why do we spend so much energy trying to avoid it? Modern life is largely organized around eliminating discomfort. We have climate control, instant entertainment, food delivery, and endless distractions. We've created the most comfortable civilization in human history, yet rates of anxiety, depression, and existential emptiness continue to climb. Could it be that in trying to eliminate struggle, we've accidentally eliminated growth? That in our quest for comfort, we've created a kind of spiritual malnutrition? The ancient Greeks had a concept called eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, but really meaning the deep satisfaction that comes from living according to your highest potential. Eudaimonia isn't achieved through comfort, it's achieved through becoming who you're meant to be, and that process inevitably involves struggle. This doesn't mean we should seek out suffering for its own sake. That would be missing the point entirely. But it might mean reframing our relationship with the difficulties we inevitably face. So how do we apply this understanding practically? First, when you encounter resistance or difficulty, pause before automatically labeling it as bad. Ask instead, what might this be trying to teach me? What capacity is this trying to develop in me? Second, look for the curriculum hidden in your current challenges. Your struggles are often customized lessons designed specifically for your growth. The person struggling with relationships is learning about love. The person facing financial hardship is learning about values and priorities. The person dealing with health issues is learning about resilience and what truly matters. Third, remember that the universe is patient but persistent. If you avoid learning a lesson when it's presented gently, it will return with more intensity until you're ready to receive it. Resistance prolongs the struggle. Acceptance transforms it into wisdom. The universe doesn't create struggle to punish us. It creates struggle to sculpt us. Every challenge is an invitation to become more than we currently are. Every obstacle is an opportunity to develop capacities we didn't know we needed. Every setback is a setup for a comeback that includes wisdom we couldn't have gained any other way. The next time life feels difficult, remember the blacksmith and the iron. Trust the process, even when you can't see the final form. The universe is teaching you something invaluable, and the lesson is worth whatever it costs to learn it. What struggle in your life might actually be a gift in disguise? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this perspective helped shift how you see your challenges, hit that like button and subscribe for more philosophical explorations. Until next time, remember, you're not being broken down, you're being built up.